Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to E-Factor Radio, evolving, electrifying, and empowering humanity with universal love, with host Brenda Pierce and guests, elevating consciousness through thought-provoking conversation with some of the world's leaders in consciousness and personal transformation. Listen live each week at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, or download the powerful podcasts on demand for your listening pleasure. E-Factor Network is the home of E-Factor Radio and several independent broadcasters worldwide. Visit efactornetwork.biz today. Now, let's get on with the show.
Wow, and welcome to another edition of E-Factor Radio. It's Brenda here, and I am so thrilled to be part of this 2014 and beyond world that we're in today, because it is a chance for us to elevate and expand our consciousness and surround ourselves with universal love. And with that in mind, I am so thrilled to have our special guest on today is Debra Cummings, and after the break, we'll bring her on. And I just want to tell you that I just love Deborah. I think she's one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world. She's the grand ambassador of the quantum energetic disciplines and the quick pulse technique. She is a worldwide favorite with so many people that are jamming up the call line right now. We're just swarming with people, just excited to be with Deborah, and we are going to have a great time this afternoon. And clearing the air, clearing the crap, clearing the things that are holding us back from our fullness of our life experience is what Deborah is an expert in. And after going through a lot of trauma in her own personal life, she has, through a chance experience, to meet Joe Dunning, and her life has never been the same. And let me tell you, my life has never been the same since I heard Joe Dunning about 10 years ago on a teleseminar, and I became a teleseminar junkie after that, looking for opportunities to connect with and listen to and expand my own consciousness, and understand that the world is whatever we make it. We don't have to have the world doing stuff to us. We can make the world command the world to what we want it to look like, and our own experiences are a testimony to our stick-to-itness and perseverance in the world today. And like that, this is why I do E-Factor Radio, is that determination to help elevate consciousness with universal love is what I do, and I love to expand that with you. And that is why we have E-Factor Network, which is a collection of podcasters, broadcasters from all around the world who are sharing their insights on E-Factor Network. And so with that, I'm just going to break quickly to our commercial, and we'll return with Debra Cummings, and we don't want to miss a moment of her work with you this afternoon.
Got a message or a gift to share with the world? Want to be seen and heard? Have marketing, publicity, and online service needs? Let E-Factor Network help you and your business get seen and heard by millions. Visit efactornetwork.biz today.
Welcome back, and I want everyone to strap on their seatbelts because it's going to be a high-impact, high-energy rest of the hour. And welcome to the show, Deborah.
Thank you, Brenda. Thanks so much for inviting me. And you really surprised me. I didn't know you go 10 years back with Joe Dunning.
Yes, I don't know how it happened, but it sure has been a fantastic opportunity to be listening to her through the years and just gracing. Like, she does so many amazing things, and on her website she does the miracles and offers all kinds of opportunity to connect energetically with her, and I just know that it has been a heartfelt connection, and it led me to you. So what a journey.
That's so cool. You know what most people don't know about Jo is that she doesn't have just one thing that she does. So it is whatever is most needed for the group of people that sign up for something is what takes place during the event. So even though we actually have a hard time coming up with a description for events, because until the event happens, we don't know precisely what will be offered. It will be whatever has been said in her announcement, plus usually so much more, because it is really whatever is needed. And that's one of the most unusual things about the way that she works. Wow. And I love it.
Oh, hey, every day it's got to be a brand new adventure when you work with Jo.
It is special, and it's an adventure. So, yes. And I want to mention, I just received an email from someone saying that I sent out the wrong phone number for today. So if people are listening online using the link, can they still be unmuted, or shall I go ahead and...
Yeah, let me give out the phone number just to make sure that everybody has it, and that way then if they're on the webcast, they have to call in. They can't just connect that way. So for all you guests who are on the webcast part of this, 347-989-1033, and that will get you right in here nice and live with us. And we have quite a beautiful group of people here already. And so join us live. And we're so excited to have this opportunity to be with you and share this time. So I hope that helps. I'm sorry if you had the wrong number.
Oh, you gave me the right number, and I just did my email accurately. So anyway, oh my.
It's all good. It's all good. It's really good. And I do have to tell you, Deborah, you are one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world too. I just love you. I love whenever we have the chance to connect and do these special events. It's always magic.
Oh, thanks, Brenda. I always have so much fun when we get to do this. Get to unmute callers and really get in-depth work done with people. It brings such joy to me when other people have the same opportunity that I have to change my life.
Absolutely. And yes, and the experiences that you've had are, so representative of so many people. We have phobias and fears, and we're locked behind blockages of energy that we don't realize are, able to be transmuted. And once we have the door open, I know my experience was just such a mind-expanding experience to be listening to a teleseminar years and years ago, and just everything just gelled and connected. And when I found out that I can clear these cobwebs of things, and it just made my life so much brighter and led me down this wonderful path to where we are today. So I thank you, and I thank Jo for being a part of that major transformation in my life.
That's wonderful. Part of that, I think most people don't know what their options are until they do, until you're exposed to something new. When I first met Jo Dunning, it was really an accident, really by chance. And I never, ever would have attended anything like that because it went against everything I ever believed in. I mean, I used to make fun of people that talked about what I used to call woo-woo stuff. My life was very middle of the road in business. Business was my background. And anything off that track, I would have made fun of. But however, I was volunteering at an event where Jo was the keynote speaker, so I was kind of stuck there listening. And I knew when I listened to Jo, I could hear the truth in her voice. And I knew she believed what she was talking about, even though it was something that challenged my belief. But because I knew she believed it, I was able to trust her enough to actually participate and do what was then called the pulse technique, which is probably what we'll be using on this call most of the time during this call. And she did 3 pulses that day. And I remember feeling totally embarrassed because I was sure she could, know what I was thinking about. I was sure she could read my mind. And I remember, wondering, I hope no one's looking at me participating. And I remember thinking, kind of being annoyed by people in the audience who were raising their hands and saying, oh, I saw colors and this happened and all that, because I thought, I don't believe any of this stuff. And when I left there, I felt a sense of joy for the first time in my entire life. This was like a pureness of joy, a lightness. Something in me was different. And following that event, I started to notice different things falling into place. So I got along better with my husband. I got along better with my kids. My parenting skills began to change. It was within 6 months of that meeting, that time I was in the audience, that I no longer needed any of the prescription medications that I was taking. So things internally were making massive change in order for me to notice them on the external, and things were moving rapidly. It was such a profound experience for me. And I still didn't believe in it. Even though I noticed all that stuff happening, I still didn't believe in it. It was not until I was actually trained in the work that I started to believe in this work. I'm a real hard sell. So
well, I think that's what makes you such a perfect person to be such a strong representative of it, is the fact that it had to take a lot of understanding, or a lot of curvature to go through to be able to get to this point. And that really speaks to the masses, because there are a lot of skeptical people out there. And that makes it, that they can relate more to somebody who has had those same skepticisms. And so I think that's why it's such a good match for you.
Good. And it's just, I think being skeptical is so good. It's so important. And really it's discernment. And the best way to understand this work and to know if it will help you is to experience it, and then just begin to notice how you might be different following this broadcast. You might notice that you feel lighter. You might notice that you feel happier and don't know why, or your buttons are being pushed less. Or you might notice new opportunities that seem totally unrelated to what you're working on today. All of those things are indications of change. And many other things indicate change before you even notice some of the things that you worked on today changes. What I mentioned, getting along better with my husband, my kids, and actually after meeting Joe Dunny, I was also unable to sleep at night. I didn't work on any of those things during that event. It was just that whatever I worked on was somehow related to those things, and those things cleared for me anyway. So that's how this works. And,
and
that's
there's
one of the
some collateral benefit too, right? You started to cook better.
Yep, that came later. And trust me, I am not a good cook. It's not, but I used to despise cooking. Oh my gosh, I hated cooking. And what happened was I didn't hate it so much afterwards. And as a matter of fact, I started to, like when the weather's cold or it's raining, I actually look forward to it. I just want to be in the kitchen cooking when the weather is cold and rainy. But that I actually addressed directly, I think with a pulse or something. But what I didn't address was my dislike of doing laundry, and that cleared as a result of working on the cooking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool. It just shows you what multidimensional people we are, in terms of we have these issues, but then we always also have the dishes to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, I have to share. I was so tickled this past spring when I was able to finally take the Quick Pulse training myself, and that was a wish list that I've had for 7 years, and to have finally fulfilled that wish and to be able to apply it, like I have been working with clients one-on-one, and the results are just phenomenal. It is so wonderful to be able to have been such a fan of this and to find that it works for me as well.
I know. I really hear you. That's the actual reason I finally started to believe in this work was when I went through this training. It was very different than the training today. It is much simpler to go through this training of the weekend. That's it. You're done. When I went through, we had a 6-month practicum and lots of sessions, and we could only work in person.
Wow.
And it was really a challenge. And but the first 100 people that I worked with, I had kept track of. Afterwards, I would check back in for how the session had changed their lives. And 93 out of the first 100 reported significant change from having a session. That was just one session. And
wow.
when I got those numbers back, when I heard that feedback, it was like, okay, well, maybe this is working. Mm-hmm. Mind you, this is after having levitated at one of Joe's trainings. I mean, I still didn't believe in this stuff. It really took a lot.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, just to levitate, that would be just such a trippy thing to do. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And you'd think it would have turned my mind around, but it didn't.
Oh, well, you are a tough sell.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a number of wonderful people here who would love to experience. We're getting close to 100 people on the line here, so we could do like a mini practicum right here.
Oh, fun! Fun! Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so are these people that actually want to be unmuted to work one-on-one, or great?
Yes, one-on-one. See, the beautiful thing with Blog Talk is Paula, my producer, is screening through the callers and actually talking to them while we're talking to find out what their wish list is and whether they want to be a listener or if they want to participate. And so it's really, really a neat system to work with. So I'm very blessed to have a wonderful producer who is making my life very easy here today. And so we can just go through the tiptoe through the garden of people here today and make some dreams come true.
And can I mention that?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, when we work one-on-one, everyone listening can participate in the energy work at the very same time. So they have that option. I just want to mention that. So even though I might be talking to one person and working directly with them, everyone can participate when we do the energy work portion.
That's wonderful. There's that collateral benefit again. And I do know that, you have done some amazing work with doing the group calls twice monthly for Joe Dunning and doing the Quick Pulse in that format. And being on many different teleseminar events and whatever, you have touched a lot of lives. You have a very big fan base. And everybody who's raising their hand here, I'm sure has, is... Well, we had people jumping ahead of the line and wanting to be on early so that they could make sure that they were here first to be with you.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that wonderful?
So nice to hear. It is wonderful. Thank you.
Yes. And so our first caller is Richard, and I'm just going to unmute the line, Richard. Hang on. Here you are. Hi, Richard. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? How are you, Deb?
I'm doing great. And I want to mention that to all the listeners, just to be anonymous, you can make up a name. So we don't have to know your real name to participate in, so you can remain completely anonymous if you'd like to do that. So great.
Okay, that's
Richard,
good to know.
yeah, so what am I supposed to say now? Hang on a second. There we go.
Let me I'll just interject for a second. Just everybody know that the work that we're going to be doing today is not a substitution for any medical treatment or care that you may be receiving, that the benefits of this are just benefits and unexplainable benefits sometimes, but very miraculous in their own right. And so I will turn that back over to you, Deborah.
So, Richard, are you calling in with a question, or would you like to tell me a little bit about what's going on in your life that you'd like to have different, and we could work on some areas? Or
absolutely.
I'll let you...
Well, it's a question turned into a odd lifestyle. Well, not an odd lifestyle, a lifestyle. In that I'm really wanting to work on receiving for myself. In that I'm really good at being a giver. I do radio shows. I talk about environmental issues, health issues, I have a history as a healthcare practitioner, so I gave it doing that for years. I'm really good at taking information that's highly technical, whether it be a health issue or an environmental issue, and speaking to people in a way that they understand. And I really enjoy that work. I enjoy giving. I'm really highly skilled at giving in different arenas. Receiving, not so much. I'm not as, like I'm great behind a microphone. Like if you have people hear me like now, I sound relaxed and at ease and casual and confident and, I don't know, smart and could be witty. But that's because I'm standing behind a microphone. In a crowd, I'm pretty shy. I'm not good at receiving the accolades of people when they meet me in person. I'm not good at receiving the financial possible remuneration that could occur from the work that I do. So receiving is the category, in my mind.
Okay. Just tell me more about that idea in a crowd, in person. Tell me more about that.
I can do a radio show where I have an audience to 10 to 20,000 people, no problem. If I'm in a room or in a crowd situation where the attention goes to me of more than about 10, I get really uncomfortable.
Okay. Hang on, I'm still writing.
Like I can't imagine, I work with some people engineering their shows where we'll do, not unlike your seminars, where you'll have, maybe 1,000 people on the phone line. I can moderate, I can talk, I can be conversational, but when I'm in a public forum and I'm working with that same person and people come up and know me because they know my voice from the shows, I'm not good at receiving. They're like, oh, I love what you do. You're a great, that right there.
Okay. Tell me more about that idea, or just the concept, attention, when the attention goes to me.
Makes me slightly nauseous when you even just talk about, just saying that directly to me, bringing the attention to me. I'm not comfortable with attention in person. And I do make that the jump between the two, because on radio I have no problem. It's the in-person where there's physical attention, I guess, focused on me, that I get uncomfortable. I've gotten better because I do hang out with some people that have very large audiences. So sometimes I'm on stage in front of a room of 500 to 700 people working with the person I'm working with, engineering or setting something up or doing something. That I've gotten past, but I wouldn't want to stand in front of the microphone and talk to that crowd, even though many of them may know me or know my voice.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start right here, and we'll be using the pulse technique when we get started. And I'd like to start with that idea. When the attention goes to me, I get really uncomfortable. And so what you'll focus on is that idea, I get really uncomfortable. And so just to tell the audience that if you have something similar in your life, you are absolutely welcome to also address that idea, I get really uncomfortable. And if you have something else in your life, something completely different that you'd like to address, you can address that instead. And the way this works is you bring to mind whatever item you've chosen to work on. You bring it to mind, so you're just thinking about it in your head, and you think of all the ways that item bothers you, or all the ways that item gets in your way in your life. And we do that for 2 or 3 minutes while we're sitting quietly. And that's all that's needed for the energy to get started to address that item for you. So, Richard, I like to close my eyes when we do this work, and you're welcome to have your eyes opened or closed. Either way is just fine. But go ahead and bring to mind that idea, I get really uncomfortable, and anything about that bothers you. And we'll begin right now. And you can bring your attention back. And Richard, is there anything you noticed when we were sitting quietly that you'd like to tell me about?
I'm laughing because somewhere about halfway through I found myself smiling for no apparent reason. I didn't have an image or a movie that occurred to me, but I just suddenly realized I was smiling. Not a big smile, but I was like smiling, sort of like, oh. I'm familiar with your work. I've done some of the big sessions that you do for Joe, so I know your work and I love the energy. But it was just a feeling of a smile. That's all I can say.
Smile's a good thing. So, sometimes when we do this work and we're sitting quietly, you might notice that your mind wanders during the process. You might notice some other thoughts come up. Did you happen to notice anything like that?
Again, laughing. I did run across the fact that it just floated up that I too am a skeptic. I operate from a skeptical position in my observations of like this kind of work. I feel the same way like you did when you started out. Like, really? You must be kidding. And yet,
you're kind.
I we're on air. But I really like it. It made me smile. I mean, I can't argue with that. It made me smile, and that's what I noticed, is that it made me smile. And the thought bubble came up that was like that other side of my brain, that's that left brain dominant side, that's very linear and very, I'm an engineer, so I mean I have that side, but it made me smile past my skeptical side, and I love that.
Right.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you, Richard. Well, and just as a reminder, the energy is just beginning on that item that you were thinking about. And any of the thoughts that came up during the process, sometimes there are some thoughts that move through very swiftly that we don't even grasp or remember. The energy will start on those thoughts. And then it continues all the way down toward whatever the core is for the reason behind that in-person attention being uncomfortable. And it will begin to light that for you. So I appreciate you calling in and participating.
Thank you.
Outline. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And if people see you walking around with a big goofy smile on your face, that's a good thing.
That would scare my friends, but okay, thank you.
Thanks for being a part of the call. Take care. Many blessings. Aw.
Sure.
That is so nice. Well, it's true, because I started smiling halfway through too, and I just it's just one of those things. A smile becomes contagious no matter whether you see it or not.
Nice. There's proof.
Well, we're going to move on to. Are you up to another caller?
Oh yeah, let's keep going.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so this person's last two numbers of their phone number is 56. Welcome to the call. Hello, you're on the line.
Hello?
9056.
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Hi,
Deborah.
Who's this?
Who do we have?
This is Kim.
Hi, Kim. Welcome to the call.
Hi, Deborah. Hi, Brenda.
Good to meet you. Kim, do you have a question today, or would you like some help with a certain area of life?
Yeah, I'm having a really hard time with anger and frustration lately, and it's affecting my entire world, and I don't know how to deal with it. It's basically related to my job.
Oh. Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the anger and frustration.
It's very unorganized, and I feel like I can't do my job, and I'm good at what I do. I work in retail, and I'm a hard worker. I mean, I feel really frustrated when I can't do my job the way it needs to be done. And I kind of feel, I don't know, invisible on the job, I'll put it that way.
Well, tell me more about, are you on a headset, Kim, or a way that I can make the sound a little more clear? I would love to be able to hear everything that
I am on a headset because I have a hearing problem. Maybe if I turn it down a little bit, does that help?
It's
or the
we can
microphone
just leave it the way
closer.
it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
can I move the microphone away from it a little bit? Is that better?
No, we can go ahead and continue. I didn't know if there was just an easy adjustment, but that's just fine. Tell me more about that idea, feel invisible.
Well, I was transferred to another location within my company, and I was not welcomed at all. 1 year later, next month it'll be a year, and it's pretty much the same way. I didn't have any control over the transfer, and I believe it stepped on a lot of people's hours. So there's, I'm definitely not welcome there.
I'm still writing.
Okay.
And the only reason I take notes is so I can remember perhaps what to work on.
Okay.
So, tell me more about affecting my entire world.
Well, I guess I'm so frustrated. It winds up turning into depression. I tend to hibernate, procrastinate, all the things that I don't like at my job, if that makes sense.
Oh. Anything else?
I think that's the biggest thing right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go ahead and address this idea, feel invisible. And this might be something that is similar to something that a lot of people have in their lives. And so if the listeners relate to that idea of feel invisible, it's fine to address that, or they might want to address something entirely different. It's just fine. And for Kim, if you'd bring to mind that idea, feel invisible, and anything about that that's difficult for you. And what we'll do is we'll sit quietly for a few minutes when we do the energy work, and then I'll ask you what you noticed during the time we're sitting quietly. And then we'll chat for just a moment or two.
Okay, thank you.
So bring to mind that idea, feel invisible, and just anything about that comes up is just fine. Anything about that bothers you. And we'll begin right now. And you could bring your attention back. And is there anything you noticed when we were sitting quietly that you'd like to tell me about?
Well, I do feel a little lighter, and my heart rate slowed down. My hands feel very heavy, but tingly.
Okay. Anything else?
A sense of relief. Okay. I think I can tell a change in my voice even as we're speaking.
Good. And as I mentioned to the last caller, sometimes when we're doing this work, you might notice that your mind wanders. You might notice different thoughts come up. Did you happen to notice anything like that?
I did, as I actually was seeing the way that it's been, but then I actually saw people approaching me.
Tell me more about the way that it's been.
Wow. It seems there is nothing. I'm not allowed to be myself or give a thought because it's shut down.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm not allowed to give an opinion or give a thought about anything because it's shot down pretty quick. It's just totally disregarded. And so I feel like it's inhibited my being, my personality and character. Although I am the same person, I'm not allowed to be myself, is how I feel.
Okay.
They're very judgmental.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it, Deborah.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do another process. I'd like to address that idea, I'm not allowed to be myself. And for listeners, you're welcome to choose that or something else in your life, if you whatever you choose to find, something that's in your way. And Kim, so bring to mind that idea. I'm not allowed to be myself. And anything about that bothers you. And, when we do this work, it might be something very current in your life. It might even bring up some things in the past, and that's just fine. Whatever comes up is just fine. And so go ahead and bring that to mind, and we'll begin right now.
Okay.
And you can bring your attention back. And is there anything you noticed this time when we were sitting quietly?
Honestly, I was feeling a little bit angry that I've allowed that to happen to me, that I have let someone have that kind of control. I love helping people in any way that I can. I love people, and often get reprimanded for that. You know, I get back to whatever the job is and stop helping. And, I was feeling a little bit of anger there for a minute. But the reality of it is that's never going to stop for me. You know, I'm always going to be that way in helping, you know.
Anything else?
I kind of feel like there's something in me that says, you know, it's time to just do what I need to do.
Good. The energy will support you.
Flash, it's time.
Great. Good. And, you know, when we're doing this process, and sometimes people do notice some emotion coming up, you mentioned anger, that's also being addressed during the process, that emotion. So that's being released and cleared. So
Wonderful.
That can be very helpful as well.
Yes.
Yeah, as well as supporting you and becoming and being more yourself. So good.
You need to come back to me. Thank you, Deborah, so much.
Oh, thank you for participating, Kim. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. I'm
No,
very
you
impressed
can't.
with you. I'm so glad I got through.
Oh,
good.
Well, we're glad you did too. And one thing's for sure is the sound of your voice is much more, much lighter than it was when you first started the call.
I know. I can hear that. I can feel it.
Good.
There you go.
And I'm laughing, and that's a great thing.
Yeah. Good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Wow.
All right.
You know, it just, like you say, it's just the beginning of the trail right now, and I look forward for Kim having amazing results as time goes on, and the energy work can work for days, months, even years. Is that not true, Deborah?
Absolutely. And so for some people who are listening right now, they, just that feeling of lightness or maybe being more relaxed, what you're noticing is there's change taking place underneath, even though you can't define it. And it's just getting started. So, for example, when I worked on procrastination in my life, that actually took 6 months before I realized I was no longer procrastinating.
Oh, wow.
And what we hope is that the change is subtle enough where you don't notice it. If you notice change like instantly, if I stopped procrastinating instantly following the process, so much would have needed to change underneath for that to happen. It probably wouldn't have been comfortable for me to go through that. So the energy is very wise, and it works in the best timing and way for each person and for each item. So
beautiful.
Just what I usually like to tell people is just notice what you notice. Notice different ways of being, responding, that internal state. Is it any more peaceful inside, just more comfortable being you? Mm-hmm. And for some people, it might be a temporary increase in some emotion like anger or frustration or irritability. And what that is you are simply noticing as you're going through what's clearing. So that is also very temporary and is taking you to where you want to be. It's giving you the end result that you want. And
I know what it's done for me. It's given me a lot of inner peace. And after going through years of turbulence in my marriage and helping a very ill husband and trying to juggle everything, peace was the farthest thing on my radar that I could have ever imagined in my life. And this work has just really given me that peace, and I'm so thankful for that.
So good.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us sometimes never get to know peace within ourselves, and so this is a beautiful clearing technique to help that happen. And it sounds like this may be something that the next caller could use as well. And I'm going to bring on 3112. Ree? Hi. Welcome to the call.
Hi.
Wonderful to hear your voice
Hi,
again.
Brenda. Hi, Deb. This is Ree. Thank you so much for taking my call. It's such an honor to connect with both of you.
Oh, thank you. Just spell your name for me so I can make sure I get it.
It's R-H-I.
And it's pronounced Ree.
Yes.
Pretty. Oh, thank you, Ree.
A pretty name, like a pretty flower.
Thank you. I was calling to ask for some extra help and support regarding a difficult relationship with my father.
Tell me about that.
Oh, well, I was in a car accident about 7 years ago, and which left me on disability and in bed almost all of the time, living with my parents. And and so I'm on a daily basis having to deal with someone who's usually hostile and not supportive in any way.
I'm just writing it down. And tell me about what was going on in your life before that accident 7 years ago.
I had just moved across the country. I was starting a new job, and those were pretty much the circumstances. And then I was in the car accident and had to move back across the country and in with my parents.
Tell me more about that idea, not supported.
Well, it's an adversarial environment, and simple things like driving me to doctor's appointments, which I can't do to myself, my requests for help in that area are rejected. And also I'm told that I don't need the help or the support, that it's just mental, although all my doctors say otherwise and have explained it directly.
So when you hear, I don't need the help, what is that like for you?
Not very pleasant. I feel like, it's just difficult. It's challenging to ask for help and be rejected.
I'm still writing. All right. Let's go ahead and start with this item. You mentioned something like challenging to ask for help and be rejected. And so we're going to work on this idea of be rejected. And the listeners are welcome to choose that item or something else. And so bring to mind that idea, be rejected, and anything that comes up for you about, anything that comes up during the process about be rejected is just fine. So bring to mind just all the ways that bothers you, anything about that that's difficult for you. And let's go ahead and we'll begin right now. can bring your attention back. And is there anything you noticed when we were sitting quietly that you'd like to tell me about?
Yes, I noticed a lot of heat in my body and a movement of energy, like a column of energy. I also had a lot of tears and sadness.
Tell me about the sadness.
I guess it was mostly focused on the fact that what I said wasn't or isn't believed or taken seriously.
Anything else?
Also, the challenge of having to rely on someone who is unwilling or incapable of dealing with the reality of a very challenging situation.
Brenda, how much time do I have?
Well, I did set the clock for an hour and a half because I figured we might be running a little over, so you have as much time as you'd like.
Oh, great. Okay. I do have sheep that I need to graze before it gets dark out, but I'd love it if I can go over just a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
The last thing that came up is that all the responsibility and the everything it falls upon my mother, and it's very challenging for her because she has her own health condition. So to see that mistreatment is difficult.
And I missed that last piece that you just said.
To see that mistreatment is difficult.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I'd like to do this item. This idea, what I said isn't believed. And listeners can choose this or something else. And I do want to mention to anyone who, I think this recording will be in the archives and the energy work will still be active on it for anyone if you missed part of the call and you'd like to hear the whole thing and use the energy work. It's still available.
That's absolutely true. And we're obviously not going to get everybody addressed on the list, but everybody is being addressed indirectly, and so it's a wonderful opportunity for you to listen to the archives for sure, and we'll talk about how to access those at the end of the call.
Great. Good, thank you. So bring to mind that idea, what I said isn't believed, and anything about that bothers you. And we'll begin right now. And you can bring your attention back. And is there anything you noticed this time when we were sitting quietly?
This time, a whole series of moments popped up, and it felt like energy was systematically clearing each incident. So I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Great. And that's exactly how this works. All those series of moments that you notice popping up is what the energy is addressing and anything related to those. And I'd love to do one other process before we leave if you'd like to do it. It's an entwined energy field release, which releases the unhealthy bonds that you have with another person. And so we can do this process between you and your father.
Yes, please.
That'd be great. And then, so anyone listening, if there's someone in your life that's difficult or where the relationship could be better, it might even be that your child is so clingy or has separation anxiety, or perhaps you have a dog with separation anxiety, or perhaps you don't like the way you act around when you're around a certain person. Wherever the relationship could be better, it just needs to be someone who's living, and it's only one person at a time. And, for this process, you simply hold in mind the first name is just fine, and you're not thinking about that person. Just kind of hold that name in mind. And so for Ree, you'll just be holding either whatever you refer to your father, dad, whatever it is just fine. And so go ahead and just hold in mind the name that you used for your dad, father, whatever. And we'll sit quietly for a few minutes, and we'll begin right now. And you bring your attention back. And is there anything you noticed this time when we were sitting quietly?
First, I began shaking my whole body, and that lasted several moments, and at the end, I took a really deep breath and a sense of calmness.
I'm sorry, I missed the last word. A sense of
calmness and peace, and also relief came over me.
Good.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Ree. Thanks for participating.
I'm so grateful to both. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I think this is probably helpful to a lot of people, too. As a matter of fact, I really don't understand it fully, but when we work like this using the advanced pulse, oftentimes people that are listening will go far deeper to address the areas of life than they ever would have if they were just listening on one of the teleclasses, because they're really beginning to notice matching areas in their own life that they could benefit from clearing. And so I think that this particular broadcast offers that to the listeners. And if the listeners, if you're enjoying this, listen again. And especially that last process, you might have other relationships in your life that you'd like to address because they could be better. You can listen again, and every time you listen, choose a different name to hold in mind.
That's so true and so beneficial, and I was really phased out during that last process too. And yes, there's always, somebody in your life that you have a connection with that needs to have maybe a different slant on that relationship. So thank you so very much for bringing that forth, and for being the surrogate for all of us to bring that forth.
Yeah, that's a helpful one. I've worked with a lot of couples going through divorce, a lot of people going through breakup and then reconciling, and that particular process has been really helpful at mending relationships and also helping people move on without that kind of a tether holding them back, where you can end up feeling more free. And it's really helpful.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. We had 3 amazing guests who brought up 3 amazing stories and issues for us to focus on and concentrate on and be surrogates for us in the process, and still allow us the freedom of working on other issues. And so this multidimensional work is so amazing, and I'm just so thrilled that we've been able to have you on, as one of our first guests of the year, Deborah, to help so many of us who are going to listen to this call now and in the archives to be able to release those blocks and just benefit from this beautiful work ongoing. And it's just amazing, so thank you.
Oh, thanks so much, Brenda. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. And just right now, just a little bit as we're closing out, just wondered what you would like to promote. Here's some shameless promotion time for you, Deborah.
Oh, I'm not prepared. I think that if you enjoy work like this, Brenda had mentioned it earlier, or maybe one of the callers, that on the last Tuesday of every month, there's a free Quick Pulse teleconference where this is different. This is the Advanced Pulse. But with the Quick Pulse, we work, there's a couple thousand people that dial in every time to that workshop. It's a 45-minute workshop, and I keep all the lines muted, and you can work on your individual items or challenges that are in your way. So that's one opportunity. Another is I have a video on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search for The Pulse Technique or search for Deb Cummings, and it's a video of actually that's the Advanced Pulse, but it's used in the same format. It's used a little differently than we work today, and it's just a quick little video that if you have something in your life that really is getting in your way, go listen to the video and work on that item. You just need to usually just address the item once and allow the energy to work on it for you. If you're looking for more in-depth work, I do offer a monthly workshop on the first Saturday of every month where we do a variety of techniques with no talking. It's just 30 minutes of energy work, and those are live only. That's a membership call, and that's also available on my website at debracummings.com. You can read about that. So there's a variety of choices, and I have a little shop on my website for some other products or things that are energized that are very supportive for you. So, and Deborah is spelled Debra.
So DebraCummings.com.
Yeah,
and,
thank you, Brenda.
Wonderful. Oh, you're welcome. It's such an honor to help you promote your beautiful work, because it touches so many lives in so many beautiful and amazing ways that don't keep your light under a bucket, that's for sure. And Deborah, you're frequently on many different teleseminars and radio broadcasts, and the work is growing and spreading all the time, isn't it?
That's my goal. After I met Joe Dunning, that free monthly teleconference that's now the Quick Pulse teleconference, and that's under the umbrella of JoeDunning.com. when I originally started that teleconference, it was my way of sharing what helped me so much to transform my life. I wanted a way to offer that to as many people as I could possibly find, and that was the way. That's actually how that workshop got started, because I just it was just so incredible how my life had changed in every aspect, and I want everyone to have that opportunity.
What a beautiful gift. Thank you so very much for everything you do, for being with us here, and for shedding your light again on and touching so many lives. We're transformed just for the experience of this time together, this beautiful collective community. And Deborah, do you have any last words that you can share, wisdom as to what you see 2014 being all about? We'd appreciate that.
Oh, my gosh. I'm probably the last person on earth to give advice or projections or anything like that. I am I kind of live each moment at a time, just as it comes up, and so you'll often hear me say, I really don't have any words of wisdom or any advice, and probably a recommendation would be to take each moment as it comes. And I know that my life has become easier by doing that. I'm more in the present than in the past or in the future, when I am just kind of taking these moments as they come, whether they're comfortable moments or uncomfortable moments, because each one of those will pass anyway. So
that's beautiful wisdom, and it's so true. Living in the moment is the moment of creation, and so we can create our life and anew in every breath and every moment and every thought. And if we live that way, life is much easier, much simpler for sure. So thank you for bringing that forth and for sharing that.
Oh, thanks, Brenda. Thanks again for the opportunity. I love to be here today.
Oh, wonderful. We'll do it again sometime for sure. Definitely. You're always on my quick call list. And I just want to share with everyone, if you are enjoying this, you can connect on this link again, and it will open right up into the replay. The replay will start automatically. And also you can catch the podcast link of this on http efactor.srbroadcasting.com, or you can go right to efactornetwork.biz, and you can see my smiling face there on the left, and you can click on it, and it'll come up to all the amazing replays of the wonderful shows that we've been putting on since we've joined Blog Talk Radio. And with that, we'd love to just sending heartfelt thanks to you, Deborah, so you can smile all the way to going to see the sheep and getting them fed for the evening, knowing that your love has been very much appreciated, and much love back to you from everyone here. And so with that, elevating consciousness and helping humanity with universal love is what E-Factor is all about. Thank you for being a part of this broadcast today, and may your lives be ever touched as we will join you next week with the duo of Lindas. Linda Allred and Linda Feinholtz will be with us, and we will be dealing with all the ways of overcoming the two major affirmations that are usually intended in the beginning of a new year: weight loss, management, and finances. So until then, blessings and much love. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to E-Factor Radio with Brenda Pierce here on E-Factor Network. Download podcasts of this program on efactornetwork.biz. Thank you for listening.